If you would state your full name for the record.
It's Charles Roger Westbrook.
Where do you work and what do you do?
The Cherokee Sheriff's Office. I'm a sergeant and I work in the Behavioral Health Unit Crisis Response Team.
Or you work where again? I'm sorry. Speak a little bit louder if you would, please.
I'm working in the Behavioral Health Unit Crisis Response Team. It's a co-responder unit.
What is that? Tell me what that is.
So we have a mental health professional and myself. We respond to mental health crises, suicides, people in distress, people experiencing psychosis, and then we do follow-ups and try to get people connected into treatment to reduce the number of folks that go to jail or end up in the hospitals if we can. Okay,
kind of like community policing aspect or something you do. How long have you been doing that?
For a little over a year now.
What type of training do you have to do that?
I have a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in counseling, and I'm also licensed as a professional counselor. Worked for about 15 years in the mental health field before I became a law enforcement officer.
Does our sheriff emphasize more than just catch them, lock them up? Does he try to do things like this?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been doing that?
We started crisis intervention team training probably 2004 or 5, training officers in behavioral health issues and how to do crisis intervention.
Does the sheriff put an emphasis on compassion or community policing in this way?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Now, how long, when were you post-certified?
Started in the sheriff's office in 1999, did the academy, I think I graduated in probably May of 2000.
Where'd you go?
To North Central.
Where's that at?
It was down in Kennesaw. It's in Austell now.
And after you got out of the academy, what did you start doing for did you go here or somewhere else?
Here. So I worked in the jail for a little bit, did court staff security, then I went to uniform patrol, and then CID.
That seems to be common starting out in the jail. A lot of officers do that?
Yes, sir.
Is that mandatory or something they just do?
For most cases, it is. There are some lateral people hired in laterally that are already in patrol or CID. They can hire in directly into those units here. But generally speaking, most people go through the working in the jail.
And at some point, what's your rank, sir?
I'm a sergeant.
Okay. No, we just had Lieutenant Stewart, and I forgot to ask him his rank, but obviously he's a lieutenant, but ask him about the rank structure. Sheriff's Office. Sergeants at supervisory capacity?
Yes, sir.
And how many, are we fully staffed in the Sheriff's Office around the moment, or are we down because of everything?
I think we're down still. I don't know the exact numbers, but we're still doing hiring and promoting the positions.
Now, I want to turn your attention back to July 5th, 2018. Obviously, you know why you're here today?
Yes, sir.
And did you get called out to 2511 Purcell Lane, the Farris' residence?
Yes, sir, I did.
And when you went out there, tell the jury just what your aspect was and what your your duties or what you did that day.
Okay. So I was in the Criminal Investigation Division, and I was a supervisor on the evening shift, crimes against persons. We responded to and assigned cases mostly for family violence. And that particular day, we came in on the shift, and were told that there was a missing person / death investigation going on at Purcell Lane, and we were asked to come out there and assist.
Now, July 5th was that Thursday. Do you remember about what time you got out there that afternoon?
Probably late in the afternoon. I don't remember exactly, but I'd say somewhere between 3 and 4 o'clock, somewhere in that area.
911 calls around 12:45 or so. So you got it after that.
Yes, sir.
When you got there, were you assigned to? Did you go and actually do anything right off the bat, or what were you doing?
We were standing by at first, waiting for some direction. Crime scene was there doing some stuff, and then we were tasked with different duties. I assisted in the area where the burning pit was, where trash had been burned and where the body had been discovered.
Now, the parties are not arguing over that. Was Gary Farris was found in the burn pile. So, when you got there, from what you knew when you arrived, was this you were there responding to medical emergency, or you were there responding to something more? You responded to the scene. Did you know, hey, this is a criminal investigation? Or
Right.
This was
Right. It was a criminal investigation. First responders had already been out there, secured the scene, and the day shift crimes against personnel were out there start leading the investigation, so we were called out to assist.
Did you go out to the burn pit?
Yes, sir.
Did you see it?
Yes, sir.
Did you see the remains?
Yes, sir.
Did you see anything at some point that catch y'all's attention?
Yes, sir. When everything had been kind of sectioned off and pieces of the remains were being placed on a table, and there was a section that was identified as a part of the chest cavity, and I saw something that was inconsistent with the rest of the burned and charred material. Looked almost like a pencil eraser in there, and pointed it out to forensics, and it was identified as a projectile from a bullet, from a cartridge.
Dr. Gooding, was she processing the scene?
Yes, sir. She was there.
Did she put into a grid system? Did
Yes,
you
sir.
help with any of the systematic search or sifting of the remains?
I helped set up some of the grid off system and removing some of the other brush that was not part of the fire. Or the
Did you
burn.
work with other detectives? Is it detectives or investigators? I think we say detectives.
At that time we had different rank structure: investigator, detective, sergeant. Now
That's going to make it really confusing for me.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to refer to them as detectives.
Okay.
Were there other detectives there?
yes, sir.
Kuykendall, one of them?
Yes, sir. He was.
Did you end up going and looking in the house, the main house?
Yes, sir. I went in with him, starting some of the preliminary searches.
You able to go into the washroom area and find anything in the washing machine?
Yes, sir. There's a mudroom and a laundry room that's off of the garage that goes into the main part of the house. There's a washer and a dryer there, and in the washing machine there were some wet towels.
Did you go into the garage and see any vehicles in the garage?
Yes, sir. There were two vehicles: a Toyota Sequoia and a Mercedes.
And did you know that the Sequoia was one of the defendant, Melody Farris, driving?
It was identified as hers. Yes, sir.
And did you see Melody Farris there at the scene?
Maybe from a distance. I think she was talking to some of the other detectives earlier in the day.
Talk to Hayes and other people.
Yes, sir.
You weren't really interviewing people or anything like that?
Not at that time, no, sir.
But when you looked in the Sequoia, the defense Sequoia, did you find some receipts and things like that?
Yes, sir, I did.
And then were pictures taken and turned over, other officers grabbed those things?
Yes, sir. Crime scene had already been through the house taking pictures, and then we went back through and started identifying and collecting evidence.
You went on July 6th, I think was Friday, you go back to the scene?
Yes, sir. I think it was the 6th when we actually collected those items.
Okay. And on July 6th, you also collected the victim's wallet, is that right?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to mark this for identification as Westbrook 1. I'll hand it to you. I know you've looked at it, we've gone through that. See if you recognize that to be the wallet that you found inside Ferris's residence.
Yes, sir, it is.
Now, where did you, based on the ECR, where did you find or your report, where was it found?
The kitchen counter.
And that was on, that was on the ECR, is where that was written?
Yes, sir.
Was there other stuff that you remember on the counter?
There was, I believe there was a purse, and there was a credit card that was identified to me to put into evidence as well.
Do me a favor, take Westbrook 1, look through it, make sure that's the wallet, and has those credit cards and stuff that you found.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is.
To the best of your memory recollection, is that the wallet that you recovered from the scene?
Yes, sir, it is.
Pretty much in the same condition as it was for the most part?
Yes, sir.
This time I tendered it as Westbrook 1.
I submit.
What I'm going to do, if I can do this right, technology and I are not good friends. Judge, I'm going to try to use this down. All right, what I'm doing, I'm going to make a record, so I'm going to talk as I do this. I have Westbrook Run 1, which is Gary's wallet in my hands. Is that right, sir?
Yes, sir.
And do you see me taking out all the cards and things inside?
Yes, sir.
And I'm putting that down. Then the rest of the wallet is pretty much empty, it looks like.
Yes, sir.
is I'm putting on the Elmo Westbrook 1, which is the one that has a light bulb
Yep.
image right there.
There we go. And then if you zoom in, then it will.
Listen, I'm a lawyer. It's not put it past me now.
If you do the dial on top, it'll zoom in, and then it'll autofocus when it does that.
All right. This appears to be a black leather wallet. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's the wallet, and then what I'm going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Judge, is this a system where you can take a picture or snapshot?
You can take a picture.
Judge, do
there's
you
a
mind
little-
assisting me because I do not know how to do
There's
that.
a button for it. I don't know. And if y'all let me know what you're doing before you do it, then we can. I don't think there's an SD card on it, but it may have internal memory. Yeah, you can take a picture with your phone and then we can do it. But I know there's a picture option. We haven't used that in 4 years.
I should have thought this through. There you go, somehow.
Did it look like a little snap
It
there?
did.
Yeah. I think
So what I'm
that's
going to do with the court's permission, I'll just take a picture of this and
That's
supplement to
fine.
the record. Mr. Ray, Mr. Weaver, y'all good with that?
Absolutely.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You would not, sir, would you remove any cards and discard anything that was found in the wallet?
No, sir.
Is your procedure when you find some evidence to keep it in the same or substantial similar condition as when you found it?
Yes, sir, it is.
So you would not add anything to it?
No, sir.
You would not take anything away?
No, sir.
You would not tamper or otherwise mess or do anything else to the evidence?
No, sir.
Best of your knowledge, that's how his wallet was when it was found.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you have any idea where it was found in the house or where it was before it was on the counter?
No, sir, I don't.
And did you have to go back and look at the property receipts to remind yourself where you had to take it from?
Yes, sir.
You don't know how it got from wherever to there.
No, sir, I don't.
No other credit cards or debit cards. What it is, what it is. What's in there is what was in there.
Yes, sir. It's listed on the evidence control record.
July 11th, did you go with Kuykendall to Burn Foreman, the law firm Gary worked for?
Yes, sir, I did.
And did you talk to, I think, Angela Phillips there?
Yes, sir.
You said you found the towels and whatnot in the washer, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And did you have those turned over to the crime scene unit that collected those towels?
Yes, sir.
Judge, if I just have one moment. Just may want to redirect another sign. All right.
Ring.
Is it Lieutenant Westbrook now?
No, sir. It's Sergeant.
Westbrook?
Yes, sir.
My name's Michael Ray, I represent Ms. Farris. Going to the wallet real quick. You said you found it, did you find it on the 5th or the 6th?
The 6th.
But you were out there on the 5th too, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, the house was searched on the 5th too, right?
There was some searching, I believe, on the 5th. It's kind of hard for me to remember. It's a little bit fuzzy, but it seems like we did go into the house on the 5th, and we're looking in some parts and then went back on the 6th.
Okay. Now, also, with the wallet. With the wallet, according to your testimony to Mr. Fogus, that was everything that was found in the wallet.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so is it your testimony that there was no cash found in that wallet?
I don't recall any cash, and I don't think there's anything on the ECR as far as cash, but
Okay. If there was cash in the wallet, would it be held in evidence, or deposited into the sheriff's escrow account?
I think normally it would just be kept in evidence because it's part of the crime scene. So as far as I know,
Okay, so as far as you know, if there was cash in that wallet, it would be in the wallet now.
yes, sir.
Okay. Now you did a couple of things other than the wallet that was found. So, and let me just also back up real quick. So just to clarify, that wallet was found by you on the counter in the kitchen of the main house on July the 6th, 2018.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you don't know how it got on the counter?
No, sir.
You don't know where the wallet originally was?
No, sir.
Okay. You also had searched Ms. Farris's Toyota, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to approach with some photographs for you to look at real quick. Now, what day did you search the Toyota?
I believe it was the 6th.
You can look at Westbrook Defense 1. That is a front gate receipt for Lake Lanier Islands, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that the date on that is July 4th at 1:54 p.m., correct?
Yes, sir.
And it looks like it's a receipt for parking at Lake Lanier.
It says front gate, so
Okay, but
access. I imagine it would be access to the.
in the middle of the receipt, you can see it says 15
Oh, okay, yeah,
1-1 park.
yeah,
Okay, so that is one day before July the 5th, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. Now, also, you had because you had written some reports in this case, right?
Yes, sir.
Right on Westbrook Defense 2. That is also a photograph of the Lake Lanier parking receipt, as well as some a receipt of something, a customer copy of something, correct?
Yes, or something Farms and Company, Birmingham Highway.
Okay. You can you see? Well, you've actually got it, but you can. I'll zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, you can see it looks like Scottsdale Farms.
Yes, sir.
Okay. July the 2nd, 2018. Do you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Looks like at least this receipt is for $118.51.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Westbrook Defense 3. That is a copy of a bank receipt.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wells Fargo bank receipt, to be specific. Is that correct? Wells Fargo?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And let me pull up for us a little better photograph. Okay, that's a checking, looks like an ATM receipt, right?
Yes, sir.
Where looks like money had been withdrawn, approximately $100.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you can also see from that receipt that the available balance, at least in that main, what it actually says main account, is $11,046.85.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, do you recall your report? Do you have a copy of it?
I don't have it in front of me.
Well,
No,
let
sir.
me ask you first, then you may not need it. In your report, you had listed out things that you had identified, and you had listed out the Lake Lanier Island receipt, AJS pit stop, a MAPCO receipt, and a Fuel City, I'm assuming, receipt. But you didn't list this. Do you recall that?
I don't recall seeing that. No, sir.
Okay. If it wasn't listed in your report, why do you think you'd leave that?
I don't know, sir.
And just to be clear, too, when did you search the car on the 6th?
I believe that's what the ECR says. Yes, sir. The
Okay.
6th.
And did you actually take the physical copies of these receipts into evidence?
I honestly don't recall.
Okay. But you did take the photographs.
No, sir. I didn't take the photographs.
You didn't take but you were there when it was searched.
I was there when it was searched. Yes, sir.
Okay. Because that's what your report says, is that you searched the car.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You also did one other thing. You interviewed a woman named Angela Phillips. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that was Gary Phillips' former secretary?
Administrative assistant. Yes, sir.
Okay. And I believe it was you and Detective Kuykendall
Yes, sir.
interviewed her. And y'all did that interview down at Burr & Foreman offices?
Yes, sir.
And that interview was, I think it was audio and video recorded, correct?
I believe it was audio, but not video. No,
Okay.
sir.
Do you recall whether or not, did you interview Ms. Phillips any more or only that one time?
I don't recall talking to her again. I remember interviewing there during that session, but I don't recall talking to her again.
Okay. And you had, because I believe you interviewed her around the 11th, right?
Yes, sir.
With Kuykendall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And her demeanor when you told her what had happened is that she was extremely upset, correct?
That's what I documented.
Okay.
I don't really recall a whole lot about the
Exactly.
interview. I don't recall
You
a
got a
whole lot
deep
of.
voice.
I don't recall a whole lot about the interview as far as her demeanor and stuff, but I do remember documenting and just using some of that information.
Okay. And because Detective Kuykendall was actually kind of lead on that, right?
I was doing a forensic victimology
Yes.
of Mr. Farris, and Kuykendall accompanied me to do that.
Okay. All right. Just one second. One thing, during the interview that you had with Ms. Phillips, do you recall her establishing that she had had an ongoing affair with Gary Farris?
During that interview?
Yes.
No, sir.
Not during that interview?
Not during that interview, no, sir.
Okay. Since you had searched the Toyota, what we'll call Melody's car, did you not also search Gary's car, the Mercedes?
I don't recall. Honestly, I know they were there. I listed the cars in the report, but I don't have a memory of that.
Okay. And you don't recall, because we have no photographs of Gary's car. Do you recall you or anybody else taking any photograph of Gary's Mercedes?
Not in my presence that I recall, no, sir.
Okay. No further questions, Judge.
These are the defense. I think this is Westbrook D4 that you're looking at on the screen. You see that?
Yes, sir.
Read into the record for me the customer card number. Don't worry about all the X's, just the numbers after that.
The last four digits are 0078.
You have any idea whose card that is or where it came from?
Not off the top of my head, sir. No, sir.
Any idea where that card was found during the investigation?
Not that I know of. It may have been one of the ones in the wallet. I don't know. I have to look at my notes to see.
Look at Westbrook. Can you make out on this one the last four digits on this receipt?
0078.
I believe that's all I have for you, sir. Thank you.
I just have a couple. Sir, I wanted to, because you had stated on cross that you were doing a victimology.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that victimology was about Gary. Okay. And because I've got kind of your report on that, it's just really just a couple paragraphs, right?
The report, yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So you went as part of that to talk to Angela Phillips,
Yes, sir.
Gary's secretary for 30 years.
Administrative assistant, yes, sir.
Okay. How did you know to go talk to her? Who did you learn that information from?
I don't recall off the top of my head. I know that Sergeant Hands asked me to do the victimology report.
Okay.
And then somewhere in our discussions, it may have been with him and Kuykendall to go down there and to interview her, but I don't remember who said that to me.
Okay. So you don't recall where you learned it, but eventually somehow you learned it and you went to go talk to her.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you also aware that Angela Phillips had moved here in 1995 along with Gary
Yes, sir.
and Melody and the children?
Yes, sir.
Did you not think in that interview, or did you ask her about whether or not her and Gary had ever had an affair before when you interviewed her?
I don't remember asking the specific question. I do remember writing in my report that there was no indication at that time that there had been an affair.
You can say that last part again?
There was no indication at that time that there had been an affair between Gary Farris and Angela Phillips.
Okay. Were you at the interview where Ms. Phillips admitted that there had been some type of affair later on?
No, sir, I wasn't in that interview. I was informed that, I think, by Detective Hayes.
Okay. But you were informed of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. No further questions.
Did you ever think for one moment that Angela had anything to do with the killing?
No, sir.
Did you know whether or not that affair was at that time or way in the past?
When I was informed about it later on, I was told that she had said that they had just decided at that time that it was inappropriate and they'd cut it off.
Was that at the time or in the past?
In the past.
But nothing makes you think she's a suspect in this, has anything to do with this, has any motive related to her whatsoever, right?
No, sir.
All right, follow.
All right, you can sit down. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Probably a good time for us to break for lunch. All right. Did I talk to y'all about lunch this morning yet?